Ever since the Naturalist Role dropped in the summer of 2020 for Red Dead Online, it's really changed the game and plays a huge part. Something that isn't mentioned much but could make a huge difference to the way you play Red Dead Online is trinkets. In this video, we'll be going through everything there is to know about trinkets, from their benefits and if they're worth getting. But before we do get into all of that, be sure to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss any content just like this. So, getting back into the video. Trinkets. What are trinkets? Trinkets are items that bring benefits to certain stats. These aren't exactly physical items you can interact with within the game, they hide away in your satchel. With each trinket, you'll need to pay a certain fee, collect certain ingredients like feathers or a tooth, and a type of jewelry. Since you need to collect a certain type of jewelry, you will need to have the collector role. But on the other hand, even though these trinkets are purchased from the trapper, which is Gus in Red Dead Online, you don't actually need the Naturalist Role to purchase these trinkets. All you'll actually need to do is play through the cutscene that is found at the hotel in Strawberry. Instead of giving the locations of each ingredient, I'll be putting the links in the description to an interactive map of all the locations to anything you may need in Red Dead Online. This will be much easier for finding the locations for what you need. Before we do get into all of them, it's worth seeing how you buy them. With each trinket requiring a certain ingredient, you actually need to sell them to Gus before purchasing the trinket, otherwise it will say you don't have enough of that ingredient. After buying a trinket, it will work instantly, and can be viewed in the perks section of the player menu in the settings. With that, let's get into them themselves.
Sorry to interrupt the video, guys. This is Charlie, the vocal editor, and I just wanted to say that Luxon actually makes a particular amount of clicking sounds in his videos, like little clicking sounds, and it's kind of driving me a little bit insane. Whilst I'm trying to edit this vocals, trying to cut out the little stuff, and then it's just a little bit. It's just it's like, bro, come on, man, it's so frustrating. Come on, man. Everyone type in the chat, Luxon, improve your recording. Okay, hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
So the first trinket we'll be looking at is the beaver tooth trinket. This costs $795 and requires 2 beaver teeth and 1 calumet turquoise earrings. With this trinket, the degradation of weapons permanently slows by 10%. You may be wondering what this means. Well, it basically means that the speed of which your weapons become dirty and lose quality will slow by 10%. It is worth noting that in events such as Call to Arms and PvP matches, there isn't any degradation in weapons. This might not make a difference to some of you, but it is definitely something worth noting. This trinket might not be something that you notice clearly, but it will have an impact, so this is a trinket that I think is definitely worth picking up. This also means that you won't have to buy gun oil as often. Buying gun oil can be a pain and interrupts whatever you're up to. So yes, the beaver tooth trinket is definitely worth it. Next up is the buck antler trinket, which costs $775 and requires a buck antler and a dane topaz necklace. With this trinket, you have a high chance of receiving better quality pelts and skins from animals in perfect condition. You may be thinking, well, this seems infirm of purpose. I thought the same at first too, but it actually means that if you kill an animal that was 3 stars and degrade it to 2 stars, there is a chance that when the animal is skinned, you will receive a 3-star pelt. I believe this is about a 15% chance, but unfortunately there isn't really a confirmation from Rockstar of that. So obviously this is pretty useful, and in terms of the ingredients needed for this one, it really isn't that bad. But this does only apply to skinning animals, which isn't as beneficial as a full carcass, especially if your trade role isn't max level, since this could have a chance of really helping that role level up. The third trinket we'll be looking at is the Javelina Tusk trinket. This is actually the cheapest of the 5, coming in at $500 and requires 1 Javelina Tusk and 1 Elliston carved bracelet. With this one, your horse bonding increases by 10%. This doesn't add a bonus to horses already at max bonding, but any new horse you get that isn't at max bonding, the bonding rate will increase by 10%. For people that already have all 10 stable slots filled with max bonded horse, this trinket obviously isn't worth it at all. For new players, this trinket would be beneficial, but unless there is a heavy discount, the price is just simply too high for a new player for it to be worth investing in. Especially since bonding a horse isn't any sort of challenge and doesn't take long at all. So is this trinket worth it? No, I don't think it is. And to be honest, the only circumstance I could possibly see it being worth it in is if you are really into horses, have the money to spare, and don't have many horses at max bonding. But other than that, I really don't think this trinket is worth it. So, moving on, the next trinket is the ram horn trinket. This costs $550, and for ingredients, you'll need a bighorn horn and an Aubrey onyx ring. With this one, when you pick up creeping thyme, oregano, and wild mint, you'll pick up 2 of the herb instead of 1. For any herb, this trinket would be worth it, but these 3 herbs are probably the most common and most useful herbs in the game, especially because they appear so often in daily challenges, whether it's picking them or adding them to a certain meat. With this trinket, processes like this will be so significantly more efficient, and considering it's the second cheapest trinket at $550, it is definitely worth it. On top of that, you'll be able to get some really good boost stats with being able to pick these herbs twice as fast. So no matter what sort of player you are in Red Dead Online, you're more than likely to find this trinket useful, and at some point down the line, you will definitely get your money's worth. So is the ram horn trinket worth it? Yes, without question. So the last trinket you'll be able to purchase at Gus is actually the most expensive at $800. In terms of ingredients for this one, you'll need 3 snowy egret plumes and a Braxton amethyst necklace. With this final trinket, the speed at which a horse's health and stamina cause drain is permanently decreased. This will basically result in you having to feed your horse less, which if you find annoying is something worth getting. If you do pair this trinket up with a good saddle, you really will be set. You'll have whatever the core drain rate is on the saddle paired up with an additional 10%. There's nothing bad about that. So I would say this is worth getting, but definitely for those higher level players. If you're a low level player still buying those really key items, then I would hold off this purchase until you're at a later stage of the game. But yes, this trinket is worth it and will really benefit you. So those were all the trinkets currently available in Red Dead Online. After going through all 5, we can see that 4 of the 5 trinkets are really worth it. Those being the beaver tooth trinket, buck antler trinket, ram horn trinket, and the snowy egret trinket. The only one I don't think is worth getting unless you really have nothing left in the game to buy is the javelina tusk trinket. I do think that all the trinkets should be items players consider buying at a later stage of the game, and like I have said in previous videos, you'd only buy them if you have the money to spare. You don't want to having to be living off a few dollars. They definitely do all come in at pretty hefty prices, so obviously not really something for new players. So I have to say, I do think trinkets are items hidden away within Red Dead Online. To be completely honest, I really think they are items that can make a huge difference to the way you play Red Dead Online. There are a number of ways these could benefit you, but the main one really is being efficient. They will really help money making. If I did have to pick out one trinket I think is the best, it would 100% have to be the ram horn trinket. There isn't one player in Red Dead Online that shouldn't buy this trinket at some point. It really is a great purchase. With it coming in at a cheaper price of $550, it really is a no-brainer. So if you're low on money and really want to buy one, or you want to limit the amount of trinkets you do purchase, this has to be one of the ones that you purchase. So with all that about wraps up things here. Let me know down in the comments if you think these trinkets are worth getting and which trinket is your favourite. On top of that, if you do have any content ideas for the future, then be sure to put those down in the comment section below too. With that, be sure to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any content just like this in the future. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.